We've been back in Denmark for a couple of months now, and I find myself missing the snow and the wilderness in Canada. Winters in Denmark are tough and long with the constant rain. I do love the darkness and the days where we only have a few hours of daylight, though. And when we have a day like today, free from the rain and the clouds, the sunrise is so beautiful. It sparkles on the frozen grass, and Lucas, Pepsi, and I try to go out for morning walks as often as we can to soak it all up. It's easy to overlook the beauty in Denmark, since we often travel to Sweden, Norway, and Canada, where the landscapes are so much more exaggerated. But there's still beauty to be found here, with the fields and forests near our village. And sometimes all it takes is for me to have to get out and film these videos to see the beauty that I sometimes overlook. It's a nice reminder that the grass isn't always greener on the other side, and helps me appreciate what we have here. Especially on days like this, where we have one of our first and likely also the last snowfall of the season. There's something about snow that makes the landscape feel so much more magical. Pepsi loves it too, and he gets so excited when he sees the snowflakes start to fall.
I don't know if it's in there.
As soon as we got back from Canada this winter, we started working on a project that we've been envisioning for the past year, building an art studio on our property. There's so much to do, but we start with the structure first, stabilizing and reinforcing the building so that it doesn't tumble around us once it's complete. We begin with nailing in the walls, one of my favorite parts of the shack. OSB on the walls might seem like an odd choice, but my family cottage that I grew up visiting, the cottage that I shared in one of my last videos, has OSB walls, so I've always associated them with cozy, happy memories. We spend the day putting up the ceiling plastic, insulation, and work late into the night to finish nailing in the ceiling boards. Last year, after a long hiatus, I started to paint again. I fell in love with acrylics again, started to experiment with new styles, and painted the beauty that I saw in nature. I opened my Etsy shop, and it wasn't long before my painting materials started to take over our little cottage. I love that our home is small, but that means that we don't have the space to store all of my paints, canvases, and shipping materials. So the time had come to transform the little raggedy wooden storage shack on our property into a cozy little art studio. The finishing touches are starting to come together, and I start to stain an old window that originally came with our property but was pretty beat up. With a little care, it actually looks really nice and fits in perfectly with the shack. Thankfully, Lucas's father comes to help us with the flooring. Even though we love home reno projects, there's some things we just don't know how to do on our own, and flooring is one of them. Then comes all of the decor. Most of the furniture, storage containers, and decor are things that I found on free tables around our community. It's one of my favorite things about Denmark, where everyone has more than enough, so giving away things for free is common practice.
Cute.
I choose all of the decor items to create a cozy look. I don't just want it to be a functional studio, but also a cozy haven that I can enjoy during the darkest parts of the winter when it feels really dreary outside. This will be a place that I can have all to myself, and it's such a nice feeling to spend the time creating a warm and welcoming environment. So I am coming to you from my finished art shack. This is a project that we've been working on for months now, but it's a vision that I had long before we started renovating this little building that's on our property. When we bought our cottage in Denmark a few years ago, I think everyone took a look at this little shack and figured we would just bulldoze it because it was pretty dilapidated. And we were just using it for wood storage for a long time because no one really thought it was worth much. But I always thought that this is such a cute little building that looks directly out onto all of our fruit trees. I can see our pear and our plum and our apple from here. And it's just such a gorgeous little spot that I knew it had so much potential to be more than just a dilapidated little shack. And now it is completed. It feels very hygge, very cozy and inviting. And I love coming out here to paint now. I finally have a place to store all of my supplies. They're not taking over our living room and our guest house anymore. So it's so nice to feel like I can just come in here, have all of my painting supplies in one place, and I can just get started on a project. And it feels so much more efficient to work in a space like this. So I am so happy with it. Because I work for Sea Shepherd, make these videos, and have lots of other hobbies, I don't always paint as much as I'd like to, but right now I'm working on a new painting that I hope to have live on my Etsy shop within the next week. My paintings have evolved, and I love that I'm gaining new skills and techniques with each new painting I work on, and I'm just really happy with how far I've come. Each day, I focus on eating as many fruits and veggies as I can, and today I'm making a salad with raw and cooked veggies, seeds, and a cashew-based dressing. I think for most people, mealtimes are very social, but for me, it's always a time that I take for myself to sit in silence, eat, and read a good book. Right now, I'm reading the Wheel of Time series, and I love being immersed in a fantasy world while enjoying my food. Outdoor recreation has always been a big passion of mine, and I actually went to school years ago to become an outdoor adventure naturalist. Because of that, I've been considering getting a canoe or a kayak for a long time now, but I've held off because I wanted something more portable and easier to take on our adventures in our camper. I don't know how I first heard of them, but this winter I heard of stand-up paddle boards, and it sounded exactly like what I wanted. So I bought a used one online, set it in the water, and fell in love at first paddle. It was just as good as I hoped it would be and will be the perfect thing to bring on our adventures. And in no time, spring arrived, and with it, all of the beautiful flowers, bees, and the new leaves on the trees. And it came just in time for us to pack up our things and head out on another adventure to go north into Sweden in our camper, which is where you're going to see us in the next video.